The newest Monster Legends update has dropped, and this is quite a big one. We have changes in multiplayer, we have a brand new era and brand new ancestrals, and in this video I'll talk about everything that is brand new. And by the way, timestamps are in the description. I'll be covering all the different changes. First off is the multiplayer change. So now, you know how I'll try to explain it as simply as possible. So first off, we have the dodge area trait, one of the most broken traits in the game. So now they have nerfed it a bit. Now, the dodge area trait as a cooldown. So for every 3 turns, 2 turns dodge area will work, and 1 turn the dodge area will be recharging. In other words, you can do area attack skills and will damage in that 1 turn. This is gonna render a lot of monsters useless. First off, taunt dodge area is not gonna be as effective as before, which is gonna make a lot of old monsters which were viable because of the dodge area trait completely useless, like Uriel the Divine. The second big update is the status caster update, which I think changes the game way too much. So earlier, status casters would be activated when the game starts. Now they have changed it so that status casters activate when the monster gets a turn. So earlier, you know how we had status caster megataunt monsters? We always used those because at the very start all the attacks would be redirected to that monster. Well, now you can't do that. You gotta wait for that monster to get that turn in. Like, look at this, I'm fighting a dark Voltaic right now, and its status caster dodge area is not being activated because it needs to wait for its turn. You know what that means? That means that things like status caster evasion will be completely useless. Elvira's status caster team evasion will also be completely useless, which means that this is going to completely change the way that we play the game, because now status casters can only be activated once the monster gets the turn in. So this completely changes tanks in a way. So your tank isn't even gonna get a turn in, and your other monsters are gonna die. Imagine using like a Flame Guard and Uriel, and your Uriel only is like 2 years old, so it only has like 200,000 health. It's gonna get one shot by an attacker if it doesn't have any protection. Well, now it's out of the meta, and that's what many experts are talking about. They completely said that Uriel is no longer in the meta, Elvira is also no longer in the meta, and so many monsters are basically leaving the meta because of this one big change. And I don't like this change at all. Maybe the status caster, maybe the dodge area change was good, the dodge area cooldown change, that was really annoying. But having it affect status caster, dodge area, status caster evasion, and megataunt is not what I'm looking for, thank you. Now this is gonna completely change the game. And I don't think this is really the best change by Monster Legends. In fact, a lot of players are calling this the worst update Social Point has ever done. So overall, their combat improvements was not really that great, but they did do something actually good. They made the cost of unequipping runes 90% cheaper, and this is only available for like another couple days. So removing like a level 7 rune will only cost 3 gems, and removing like a level 7 and all that will only cost 1 gem. So if you have runes on your old legendaries which are useless now, you can quickly remove them and change it as well. And with that, let's move on and talk about the next topic. It's actually something good Social Point did. Basically, they have buffed up the resurrection block trait. Earlier, the resurrection block trait, it would block all revival skills. Like for example, you got Uriel with those reviving skills. Basically, a resurrection block trait would mean that all revival skills would be blocked, and this was good, but it was quite situational. But now they made it so that it also blocks all relics. So like Uriel's essence, Mater Geneza's essence, all of them will be blocked, which is good because now the resurrection blocks is a little bit relevant in the meta. And now moving on for the main highlight. So now we have the Historia Era. And this is obviously stronger than the multiverse era. They have higher stats, more speed, more power, everything, more life. But when I did check their stats, it is a bit lower compared to ancestors like Justin. So I guess a small boost in stats, I guess around like 2,000. But here is the bad part, okay? So when we look at the Legends Pass, actually, we got, for the free pass, we have Exothermic. And if you don't remember, that is a multiverse monster. Meanwhile, the paid pass, the Gold Legends Pass, they get the brand new Historia Era monster, which I say is pretty unfair actually. It is going to be really hard for free-to-play players actually in that way. And they have slightly changed summoning as well. So now we have 3 types of summoning. First one is the normal general summoning, where you have that 0.2% chance of getting, the ancestrals, the one that's always been there. Then you've got the second kind, which is summon conjurer of your choice. So basically, if you head over here and if you go to the cells, there is a 25% chance of, and you can choose what cells you want, and there's a 3% chance for an egg to come. Now I guess this is almost the same thing, like it's just clubbed together. I don't know if I think that's a good change. I mean, it's less cluttering. And for the newest featured ancestor, you get a separate summoning with the same probabilities that you had before. Now let's talk about the newest ancestor, Enkidu the Untombed. So this guy's power stat is about 22,913, which is higher than Jestin, but slightly lower than Ivaris, so that's pretty good. And then for his speed stat, which is around 16,000, which is the fastest ancestral. The closest is Mater with 14,000. So he's pretty good on that as well. And for his life stat, he has 580,000, and none of the ancestors even come close to that. So overall, this guy does have one of the highest stats present for an ancestral so far. Now let's look at this guy's traits. At rank 0 he has Harden, then at rank 1 he has an immunity to freeze, then at rank 3 he has an immunity to blind, then at rank 4 which he had status caster double healing, which is a bit weird I guess. So at rank 5 gains all of these and a status caster random torture. So this guy's traits are pretty bad. I'd say he has the worst traits of an ancestor we've seen yet. And for his moves, they're not fully leaked yet, but I have read that it does have lots and lots of trait disable moves, like so many of them. And he also has lots of tortures. So I guess he kind of works like a torture giver, a cursor ancestor of sorts. But I think he might be one of the worst ancestors we've had so far. Even though trait disabling is good, I think he's one of the worst ancestors we've had so far. I don't really recommend going for this guy. And there is also a new event board with obviously 3 featured monsters, 1 ancestral, and 2 monsters to go along with. So we do get a chest this time instead of a guaranteed one. And at 20 tokens, we get Osiris, another ancestral monster, which I'll make a review for. Then at 110 tokens, you get another attacker, this time from the Historia Era. So that's pretty all for the tokens. Overall, I think the big updates was kind of bad. Like, it kind of ruined all the older monsters, kind of ruined the status casters. The only good thing it did was with a resurrection block and also with the dodge area fixes. But other than that, not really the best update we've seen from Monster Legends. And the Legends Pass as well, how can I forget about that? They're just giving out the same old monsters as well, so not really great in that end as well. And that's all. Subscribe.